in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News, coming to you live on Global TV. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. We begin from the health sector, where the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has urged state governments to strengthen year-round community engagement to curb the spread of Lassa fever. In its latest situation report for Epidemiological Week 31, the agency confirmed 9 cases in Ondo, Edo and Taraba states, up from 3 reported the previous week. This, according to the NCDC, brings the total confirmed cases to 836 across 21 states and 105 local government areas, within an 18.7% case fatality rate, higher than the 17.3% recorded in the same period in 2024. Moving to politics, where Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has declared his support for President Bola Tinubu, praising the president's economic and structural reforms. Speaking to State House correspondent after a meeting with President Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja, Governor Soludo described the president as a close friend of over 22 years. Ubong Usoro completes the details of this report.
Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has called for a coalition of progressives across party lines to strengthen Nigeria's democracy and drive development. When asked about endorsing a leader from a different political party, Soludo emphasized the need for progressives to unite across party lines.
I'm very pleased to see the president such high spirit, hale and hearty, seeing people and so on and so forth. That was quite a pleasant meeting. It's not for me to begin to discuss details of.
On the issue of insecurity in Anambra, Governor Soludo outlined a multifaceted approach combining both kinetic and non-kinetic measures.
I'm impressed by the bold steps he has taken, particularly in the areas of the economy, the structural reforms, and I have said so severally.
Pointed to the state Homeland Security Law enacted in January as a key tool in curbing criminal activities.
The federal government has withdrawn its criminal complaint against Comfort Emerson, the passenger accused of unruly behavior aboard an Ibom air flight, and reduced the flight ban imposed on Fuji music star Wasiu Ayinde Marshall, popularly known as Kwam One. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, announced the decision following consultations with stakeholders in the aviation sector. The minister further stated that the resolutions were reached after reviewing the incident, considering appeals from well-meaning individuals and taking into cognizance the remorse shown by those involved in the incident. And now talking security, the Nigerian Air Force says it has unleashed an unrelentless onslaught against terrorist elements in the northeast, killing no fewer than 592 fighters and obliterating 372 enemy assets in 8 months. A statement by the Air Force spokesperson, Air Commodore Ehim Ejodame, said the Chief of Air Staff, the Air Marshal Sadiq Hassan Abubakar, stated this in Maiduguri during a courtesy visit to Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum. During the visit, the Chief of Air Staff also inspected facilities at the Nigerian Air Force Base in Maiduguri, where he engaged with air and ground crew, urging them to maintain their relentless efforts. The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Oluwande, has called on donor agencies to partner with the federal government in funding youth development goals. Speaking in Abuja as Nigeria joins the world to mark the International Youth Day, the minister said the empowering youth is critical to achieving the country's development targets. Zara'u Nasir has the rest of the story.
August 12 every year is observed as International Youth Day. It's an opportunity for governments and stakeholders to spotlight youth issues and celebrate their contributions to national and global progress. The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, says government remains committed to supporting young people across the nation.
We are pleading to them because in 2024 alone, we lose over 400 and they said that's what they used to support the youth, and we can't see it in any way, we can't feel it, and we are saying that we are pleading to them to follow the right direction so that properly the youth can be empowered, not in a token way.
The event brought together youth leaders, municipal officials, policymakers, United Nations representatives, and development practitioners to share ideas and explore ways to boost youth participation in local development. Executive Director of Youth Hope Africa, Rotimi Olawale, says their work focuses on building young people's skills and connecting them to global opportunities.
Create platforms for them to access opportunities, build their skills, expose them to global opportunities, and ensure that they have the opportunities to connect to government policies that solve their problems in Nigeria.
This year's theme for the commemoration of the International Youth Day is an apt reminder for youth across the world to localize efforts aimed at driving development within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Lagos State has announced the commencement of continuous voter registration (CVR) exercise. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Ayobami Salami, warned that underage registration and multiple registrations will attract penalties, and offenders will be handed over to the law enforcement agencies, adding that online registration process will begin on August 18, 2025, while the physical biometric capturing will start on August 25, 2025, and will run until August 30, 2026. He noted that the exercise would ensure eligible citizens are registered to vote, adding that these include those who have attained 18 years of age, those willing to replace the damaged or lost permanent voter cards, PVCs, and those seeking to transfer their voting rights to other polling units or states. Political parties leaders in Kano State have signed a peace accord as part of measurement to ensure peaceful and violence-free conduct during the upcoming by-election scheduled for Saturday, 16 August 2025. A statement by the Public Relations Officer of Kano State Police Command, SP Abdullahi Haruna, noted that the peace accord was signed during the stakeholders meeting held at the command's headquarters, Bompai, in preparation for the upcoming rerun election for Gari Tanyawa State constituency and by-elections for Bogwai Shanono State constituency. The Kano State Police Command convened a stakeholders meeting with the candidates and leaders of various political parties. National Youth Service Corps members have been urged to lead the way in terrorism fights, banditry, kidnapping, cultism, political thuggery, and all sorts of insecurity across the country. The call was made by the Northeast Zone Coordinator, National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, Northeast Zone Center, retired Major General Abubakar Adamu, on the Corps orientation camp in Bauchi State. Abubakar emphasized that with the involvement of youth, especially corps members, in fighting the proliferation of small and light weapons, insecurity issues would be a thing of the past in no distant time. You are watching the live broadcast of the Midday News. When Midday News returns, China's manufacturing workers face wage cuts amid trade war pressure. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and if you're just tuning in, this is the Midday News coming to you live on Global Television. And now to business news. Vice President Kashim Shettima has inaugurated 2 new aircraft for Cross River State Government, an information and communication technology hub, and library designed to boost micro, small, and medium enterprises, which he said reaffirms Tinubu's administration's commitment to economic diversification under the Renewed Hope agenda. Shettima in his remarks commended the state government's forward-thinking initiatives and officially inaugurated the aircraft. China's manufacturing sector is struggling with wage cuts and reduced working hours as companies battle to remain competitive amidst the ongoing trade war with the United States, according to Reuters. Factories have forced cut wage costs by about 30% to withstand increased competition from Chinese firms that have exited the United States of America market due to steep tariffs. These firms have since shifted their focus on other markets such as Australia, intensifying price competition. South Africa's Trade Minister Mofo Park Franklin says the country will offer a generous new trade deal to the United States to avoid 30% tariffs. The minister did not release details of the new offer, but said previously discussed measures to increase import of the United States poultry, blueberries and pork has been finalized. The decision comes after Washington slapped the huge tariff on some South African export, the highest in sub-Saharan Africa, despite efforts by Pretoria to negotiate a better arrangement to avoid massive job losses. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine and its allies must work together to pressure Russia into ending its invasion, ahead of talks in Berlin with the European leaders and the United States leader Donald Trump. Zelensky was in Berlin on Wednesday to talk with European leaders and Trump ahead of the United Presidents' summit with Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Moving on, Reporters Without Borders have condemned what it described as the claimed assassination by Israeli army of 6 journalists in the Gaza Strip. The organization frowned on the assassination of Al Jazeera correspondent Anas al-Sharif in Gaza, whom the armed forces admitted they had targeted. And contrary to Israeli accusations that al-Sharif was a terrorist affiliated with Hamas, the Press Freedom Campaign group insists that he was one of the most famous journalists from the Gaza Strip, as well as the voice of suffering Israel has imposed on the Palestinians in Gaza. The Qatari broadcaster Al Jazeera had announced that 5 of its journalists had been killed in an Israeli strike on Sunday. And now talking sport, Sudan coach Kwesi Appiah has admitted that he was not expecting the team to beat Nigeria 4-0 during both sides' 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN clash. Appiah watched as Sudan trashed the Super Eagles B to send Nigeria out from the competition. An own goal from Leonard Ngenge and goals from Welidin Kher and Abdul Rauf gave Appiah's side the victory against Eritrea's side. And former England striker Gary Lineker says Arsenal only stand a chance of winning the Premier League title this season if Victor Gyökeres hits the ground running. The Gunners signed Gyökeres from Sporting CP this summer for a fee that could reach €63 million. The 27-year-old scored 54 goals in 52 games across all competitions last season. Still talking sports, chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Federal Capital Territory Council, has called on the teams participating in the 3rd edition of the football tournament to adhere to the rules and regulations of the game. Chairman Nigeria Union of Journalists Football Tournament, Chidoka Mboise, made the call while announcing the commencement date of the tournament. Our sports correspondent, Samuel Odi, was there for Global Television.
The tournament, which has 16 teams drawn from different groups, is on knockout basis. The chairman of the tournament, Chijoka Ndubeze, says the tournament aims to strengthen friendly relationship among journalists, security agencies, government and private organizations.
The tournament, which is the knockout, aims to strengthen relationship journalists, security agencies, government organizations, private sector and professional bodies.
NUJ FCT Council Football Tournament is not organized just for the fun of it, but it's a call to duty consolidating friendship and peaceful coexistence with other organizations. The grand finale of the tournament comes up on Saturday, 23rd of August, 2025. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
The local organizing chairman of the African Nations Championship, popularly called CHAN, says Kenya will play their upcoming match against Zambia in front of a reduced crowd after home fans had repeatedly invaded the stadium ahead of the games. It is the first time 3 East African countries, which are Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, have hosted the competition. But the historic moment was overshadowed by long delays over the stadium's readiness and now unruly spectators. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has issued a fine to the Football Kenya Federation totaling $17,500 over the disturbance in the stadia. And that's it on Global Television Midday News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global Television NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching. Good afternoon.